Hello and welcome. Let's talk about something that so many of us deal with but don't really talk about. Getting your sleep completely wrecked night after night by that constant need to go to the bathroom. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place. And you know what? The solution might be way simpler than you've ever imagined.
I mean, does this sound like your night? You finally fall into a deep sleep and then bam! A few hours later, that urge wakes you up. So you get up, you go, you get back in bed, you start to drift off, and it happens again. It's an absolutely exhausting cycle, and it can really start to take a toll on your day-to-day life.
All right, let's get into it. You know, the first step to solving any problem is figuring out what's really going on. For a lot of men, the second this starts happening, the mind immediately goes to one place. It's got to be the prostate. But what if it isn't? What if it's something else entirely?
Right. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It's a super common condition as men get older, the prostate gland gets bigger. And yes, it can for sure cause urinary problems. It's kind of the default explanation, but here's the thing, it's not always the right one.
So let me introduce you to another possibility, polyuria. Now, this isn't a plumbing issue, like an enlarged prostate blocking the flow. This is a production issue. Your body is just, well, it's making too much urine, especially while you're trying to sleep. And the key here is that this is often tied directly to what you're eating.
Okay, so this chart is really helpful. You can kind of do a little self-diagnosis right now. Just think about it for a second. When you get up at night, is your stream weak? Is it hard to get it started? If so, yeah, that might point towards BPH. But if the stream is strong and there's a lot of volume, that is a classic sign of polyuria. Or if you go and then an hour later your bladder feels completely full again, we're probably looking at a urine production problem, not a prostate problem.
So if we're leaning towards polyuria, the next question is obvious. Why? What is causing your body to go into urine-making overdrive at night? Well, the answer might just be lurking in your kitchen cabinet.
This right here is the big aha moment for so many people. We're all conditioned to think, oh, I just need to stop drinking water before bed. But the real culprit, more often than not, is the food, specifically those late-night, high-carbohydrate snacks.
So let's break down exactly what's going on here. You have that bowl of ice cream or a few cookies late at night. That floods your system with sugar. In response, your body releases a hormone called insulin to deal with it all. Now here's the part nobody talks about. One of insulin's other jobs is to tell your kidneys to dump sodium. And in your body, there's a simple rule. Where sodium goes, water follows. The result? Your kidneys start working overtime, producing a ton of urine and filling up your bladder just when you want it to be quiet.
So, now that we know the cause, we can actually talk about the solution. And this is where things get a little weird, a little counterintuitive, but trust me, it is incredibly effective.
I know what you're thinking. Wait, salt? Won't that just make me thirsty and make me drink more water and make the problem even worse? And you're not wrong to think that. That's why the timing of this is everything. We're not talking about eating salt right before you hit the hay. We're talking about using it strategically, a little earlier in the evening.
Here's the best way to think about it. Salt acts like a sponge. When you have a little bit of salt with your dinner, you help your body hold on to the water you've been drinking all day. This means instead of a floodgate opening overnight, you get a much slower, more gradual release of fluid. It completely prevents that surge of urine production caused by the late-night carbs.
So here's your new rule book. This is the do not eat list for at least 3 to 4 hours before you plan to go to sleep. All these things, cereal, ice cream, cookies, even crackers, they're loaded with carbs. They're all going to trigger that insulin chain reaction we just talked about. Cutting these out is the single most important step you can take.
Okay, before we wrap this up, I really want to address a huge myth about drinking water because so many people get this wrong and it can actually backfire on you.
You've heard this, right? Maybe you've even tried it. You set a hard cutoff time, say 6 or 7 p.m., and not a drop of water after that. It seems logical, but in reality, it can make things so much worse.
Here's the science. When you purposefully dehydrate yourself, your urine becomes really concentrated. It's darker, it's more acidic, and that concentrated urine can actually irritate the sensitive lining of your bladder. And what does an irritated bladder do? It sends urgent "I have to go now" signals to your brain, even if it isn't actually that full.
All right, we've gone through the diagnosis, the cause, and the simple, if a bit surprising, solution. So let's put it all together into a really clear plan that you can start using tonight. This is your action plan. It's simple. First, create that 3 to 4 hour no-carb zone before bedtime. Second, make sure you're getting a little bit of salt with your dinner. Third, keep drinking water normally throughout the day. Don't try to dry yourself out in the evening. Just try this for a couple of nights and pay attention. I think you'll be amazed.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Your energy levels tomorrow, your mood, your focus at work. What could just one single, solitary night of deep, uninterrupted sleep change for you? Because this isn't just about making fewer trips to the bathroom. It's about getting your rest back and getting your energy back for the entire day. Thanks for listening.